2. First theories till spontaneous generation. José Miguel Gonzalez and Carmen Brejano. Index. Theory of special creation. Theory of spontaneous generation. Ridge's experiment. Pasteur's experiment. Theory of primordial soup. Miller-Ruttry experiment. Theory of catastrophism. Theory of panspermia. Theory of chemical evolution. Theory of spontaneous generation. It's the hypothetical process by which living organisms develop from non-living matter. It's a theory which was thought to be truth from ancient Greeks till 18th century. Later, scientists such as Ridge, Pasteur, etc. tried to disprove this theory by making a few experiments. Ridge's experiment. Francesco Ridge, 1626–1697. Bullet first strike against spontaneous generation, his work. Bullet experimental group, covered jars with meat equals no maggots. Bullet control group, meat in uncovered jars equals maggots. Bullet conclusion. All living beings come from seeds of the plants or animals themselves. Life doesn't generate from nothing. Pasteur's experiment. Louis Pasteur, 1822–1895. Apart from Ridge, he also wanted to disapprove the idea of spontaneous generation. Experiment. Boiled broth and enclosed it in an S curved neck flask. It was open and exposed to air, however not directly. Exposed for 1 year equals no microorganisms. Removed S curve and exposed it for 1 day equals microorganisms. Conclusion. Spontaneous generation was disproved and the agenesis theory was substantiated. Confirmed. Made real or actuated contamination came from other microorganisms, not air. Modern biologists support the agenesis, the idea that living organisms only come from other living organisms. That then brings up the question of how life began on planet Earth. If life can only come from life, we know at some point there had to be a start to life. Theory of special creation. What is the theory of special creation? This idea is found in the ancient scriptures of almost every religion. According to Hindu mythology, Lord Brahma, the god of creation, created the living world in accordance to his wish. Christian belief thought God created this universe, plants, animals and human beings in about 6 natural days. The Sikh myth says that all forms of life, human came of single word God. Theory of catastrophism. It states that there have been several creations of life by God, each preceded by a catastrophe resulting from some kind of geological disturbance. Since each catastrophe completely destroyed the existing life, each new creation consisted of life form different from that of previous ones. Primordial soup. It suggests that life began in a pond or ocean as a result of the combination of chemicals from the atmosphere and some form of energy. It states that life began in a warm pond/ocean from a combination of chemicals that forms amino acids, which then make proteins. The basic building blocks of life came from simple molecule which formed in the atmosphere, W/O oxygen. The Russian chemist A.I. Oparin and English geneticist J.B.S. Haldane first conceived of this idea. Both developed this theory independently in 1920. Miller's experiment. Bullet Stanley Miller, 1930- and Harold Urey, 1893–1981. They did that experiment in order to prove Oparin's theory or primordial soup is right. Bullet Miller and Urey's experiment. Bullet mixtures of the organic compounds necessary for life could have arisen from simpler compounds present on primitive Earth. Bullet CHNOA grave all known to exist on Earth since the planet was formed. How did they turn into the fundamental organic compounds we know today? Used Oparin's concept and designed a contained experiment. Lightning with atmospheric gases created amino acids and eventually life. 1950s, amino acids heated without oxygen, they formed amino acids. Cosmozoic theory. Life on Earth originated in outer space. It is told that some spores came from the universe to Earth containing life. Then the creatures formed. This idea was proposed by Richter in 1865 and supported by Arrhenius 1908 and other contemporary scientists. The theory did not gain any support. This theory lacks evidence, hence it was discarded. Chemical evolution. This theory is also known as materialistic theory or physico-chemical theory. Origin of life on Earth is the result of a slow and gradual process of chemical evolution. According to this theory, spontaneous generation of life, under the present environmental conditions, is not possible. Earth's surface and atmosphere during the first billion years of existence were radically different from that of today's conditions. The primitive Earth's atmosphere was a reducing type of atmosphere and not oxidizing type. The first life arose from a collection of chemical substances through a progressive series of chemical reactions. Solar radiation, heat radiated by Earth and lighting must have been the chief energy source for these chemical reactions.